Good afternoon, racing fans. Welcome to a Sunday afternoon of Grand Circuit Racing here at the historic Red Mile. We are 28 minutes from the Sunday opener. Fantastic 10-race program this afternoon with 7 stakes events. If you have at your racing programs here, part of Veterans Appreciation Day as well, we'll go through your changes. Please note the first race is clear. No changes in this afternoon's first race. The only change on the program at this point is in race 2. It's a driver change on one Ship Shape to Andy McCarthy. Once again, in the second race, kicks off your 50-cent pick 5. Andy McCarthy will drive the one Ship Shape. Couple of programming notes. Again, races 3 through 10 are clear, but the pick 4 this afternoon kicks off with race 7. It features a $10,000 guaranteed pool. Once again, a $10,000 guarantee. The pick 4 this afternoon, that kicks off in race 7. And we do have a nice carryover in the 10th and final race this afternoon. 4,300 and change in your Super High 5. 4,329, in fact, carried over into the 20-cent Super High 5 here this afternoon. And once again, good afternoon. Welcome in here. 4th program of Grand Circuit action. I'm Gabe Prewitt. Pleased to be joined by my good friend and partner, Dave Brower. And Dave, it's another phenomenal card. It's another warm day here in Lexington.
It is. You're sweating, I'm sweating, but we're used to that. And I just want to say again, thank you to all the participants in that lovely ceremony that we just had to honor our Military Appreciation Day. It was great to see the Brigadier General retired out in the winner's circle. We got to chat with him about all the wonderful programs that we have throughout the Commonwealth, helping our veterans. And my last question to him, I knew that would be a little bit of a curveball. What can we do each and every day to try and keep the veterans in our thoughts?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's a great ceremony. It's our second annual event. We've got all those freebies here for the veterans this afternoon, and it's just going to be a great afternoon. And you said that ceremony was tremendous.
It was. Really enjoyed it. Everybody having a good time, and I hope everybody will have a good time with all of the things that are being offered here throughout the day. We thank Texas Day Brazil. They're at the middle of the stretch there with their booth getting ready to serve some wonderful food. We will speak to a representative from Texas Day Brazil early on in the card. There's a T-shirt giveaway. There, of course, is that bourbon tasting. You and I, unfortunately, will not be able to partake in that. $2 beers. Maybe they'll save a few for us after the 10th race when we're done working. But a fantastic day, not only for Military Appreciation Day, but the racing card that we have. We have the best sophomores in North America with us racing today. We've got Green Shoe, we've got When Doves Cry, we've got Captain Crunch, and many, many others. It's going to be a sensational racing card. I'm looking forward to it. I know you are. We're going to get lots of winner's circle reaction afterwards, and we're going to have a little chat later on with Dr. J. You've heard us mention her name quite a few times over the last couple of days, Dr. Bridget Jablonski from Hanover Shoe Farms. And should be great. Looking forward to it.
We saw a lot of upsets yesterday on the card as well, Dave. I believe just one winning favorite through 8 races. Typically not how we see things shake out here during the Grand Circuit. You mentioned some of those heavy hitters in this afternoon, so we'll see if the favorites get back on track. But that is going to make for a very nice pool in the last race this afternoon. We've got that Super High 5. It was not hit in that 12-horse field yesterday, so it's 4,300 and change, the carryover. That's a very nice carryover.
It is. Save a few pennies for your betting bankroll for that one at the end of the day. And if you happen to be having a good day, take a shot and fire, because we've had some big upsets in the last races coming on so far. Listen, yesterday's action, too, we want to congratulate a couple of special performances. Elver Hanover, who kicked off the card with that world record performance, 148-3. It's a 2-year-old pacing colt and gelding. We'll speak to Dr. J about that. And I have to admit, I was supremely surprised with the performance by Treacherous Rain in that division of the Bluegrass. That was one heck of a mile.
Incredible when you take into account that she's bouncing back after going a couple of heats there in the Jugette. So, yeah, it was just a phenomenal effort, and that was quite the first score for Treacherous Rain there yesterday. We've got 10 races here this afternoon, 7 stakes events. So I guess without further ado, we'll cover some of our other notes as well before we dive into the program.
Little happy birthday, harness racing birthday to George Teague back there in Delaware. We hope he's feeling a little bit better. Congratulations to Alea and Mark McDonald. I believe Alea gave birth to a daughter named Kiara Grace. We know Mark McDonald, of course, on the mend from that racing accident. Want to give him a big shout out. Hope he's listening. Hitting the newswire yesterday, it was released by the Hamiltonian Society that Breeders' Crown purses are going up for the big event at Woodbine at Mohawk Park next week. I think it was $600,000. Going to boost 7 of the 12 divisions. Congratulations to George Siegel and the Alanya team on American history last night at Yonkers, equaling the all-age track record of 149-3. A big hello, and hopefully everybody's feeling well after the Chris Page wedding. It's married to his new wife, Brianna, as well. And again, folks, if you haven't heard about it yet, please get the official program. I know there's an ad in there. Big fundraiser tomorrow night over at the Round Barn.
Yes, and that's going to be a phenomenal event there. We're looking forward to that. Over at the Round Barn, you've got, it's a memorial.
Yes, it is. It's in honoring Mary Lou Dondarski, the assistant treasurer of the Hambletonian Society for so many years that we lost recently. So, again, lots to go over. I guess we better start some handicapping. We'll see if we can scrum up a few extra special guests.
You had a lot of good winners, an ice-cold try. You put a lot more offense on the board yesterday than our Kentucky football team.
It did. It took me a couple of days to warm up, I think. Yeah, we were out watching that UK game. I don't even want to talk about that anymore. Let's move on. It's a new day.
Depressing. But anyway, no problem here. 10 races on tap today. We're going to circle the wagons, at least in my camp here, and try and see if we can't come up with some great winners, and we are going to begin with the opener. I'm likely going to be on the favorite here, Dave, at least I think at the end of the day. It's the 4 American Money. How about the breeding here? 4-year-old Muscle Hill Colt. He's from the Great Mare Moneymaker, of course. Seems like a light bulb on type horse for me, Dave. He's added Lasix 3 starts ago. First start with Lasix, he made a break. Last 2, he is just simply obliterated. Overnight fields there at Pocono and Harris Philly. Yes, it's a step up today in terms of competition, but I think this colt is finally starting to develop in what we all expected.
I kind of hope you're right. You know, Team Orange Crush, Andy and Julie Miller with this one. I did pick against, though, because I think the price might be a little bit less than it should be in a race like this. I'm hoping for a big-time home field wake-up call for number 6, Forecast. John Bootenshane and the captain, Corey Callahan here. This is a 3-year-old. 0 for 13 this year. That's the bad part. The good part, he won over the Red Mile Strip here last year. So hopefully, you know, those pleasant memories for the horse might come back, and he'll step up his game today. I know it won't be easy to beat American Money. Maybe we'll hedge with a little bit of an exacta box, but I'd love to see American Money step his game up. It's taken a couple of years for him. He's now a 4-year-old, so we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. You know, and it is going to be a matter of the price as well. If you said if he gets too short, it's just not going to be worth taking a swing on him. If he's very short in odds on there. I do want to give another shout out here to the 5 Scramble Camp and the camp of Angie Coleman, the trader. They're in from Chicago here. This guy's held his own with a good company, Dave. Open company at Running Aces. Open 2 company at Hawthorne. I don't think it's asking all that much here to step up and go. He's a bit more seasoned than a lot of these colts in the race. He loves to win. He's 27 of 58.
I'm glad you said that. That was what I was about to say. Only 3 for 18 so far this year, but that doesn't worry me. Those are tough customers that he has been facing on those tracks, and you've proven that he can handle all size tracks. So you better use him in your gimmicks, if not on top.
Okay, second race going to kick off the 50-cent Pick 5. Another big payout in that Pick 5 yesterday. I believe just a single ticket out, Dave. It was over $4,000 for 50 cents. Low takeout, just 15%. Always a good spot to take a shot here during Grand Circuit action. We have teamed up here, I think, of the same colt that it got a bit of a freshening. He's missed some time here. He's been off a few months or even a little more at this point. That's number 3, Blood Money, goes for Diamond Creek Racing. Son of Sweet Lou, like the qualifier here over the track, and we know this is a colt that has some top-level talent.
He has talent. He has speed, and he's capable of blistering speed. And I'm not necessarily worried about the time off. Most times I would be. But Blood Money proved to me back in a race at the Meadowlands in April that he can win off of a layoff. He exploded past the field as if they were tied to the inside pylons in his very first start of the season. So I'm not worried about that. That qualifier looks great just to get him used to the Red Mile Strip here as well. And I think he'll be the one to beat. I don't know if we're going to get that second choice status at 7-2. The fans might be on it with us.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked to see that as well. How about the horse that pulled off a big upset last time out? We both used on the ticket, the 5 Gold Digger King. You saw him up there on Jug Day, 19-1 there. What type of mile did he go? He was used extremely hard making the lead. Part of a big day for Brian Sears. I think he had 3 drives, all were wins. And he obviously went down the road here, 19-1 on this set of Pedrock. I was ultra impressed with that mile.
I was too, but when they hit the wire, I was shaking my head, wondering, you know, where did the race, that kind of a race came from. But we'll see. You know, that was over the half-mile track up in Delaware, Ohio. This, again, is the mile track. Gold Digger King shows lots of 5-ace action and things like that, so he's going to have to stretch out even more. He's a gelded son of Pet Rock, and he's certainly got the right guy back in the sulky seat to make things happen.
Indeed. Third race this afternoon kicks off the Pick 3. It is another late closing event here, this one on the trot, and we've got a horse that changed hands earlier this season. Southwind Chrome, he goes for trainer Jeff Culliford now. Tom Pollock Racing there. They got this guy a bit earlier in the spring, I believe. You know, for a long time, Dave, the 6th Southwind Chrome we're talking about, you know, he didn't really seem to want to win. He was like one for many starts and really couldn't quite get the job done. Well, that has completely changed.
It has, and they have done very well with their private purchase. Tom wasn't here with us in the winner's circle yesterday, but trainer Jeff was. We got to talk to him after he had a win. Southwind Chrome, they've kind of resurged his confidence, I guess might be the best way to say it. He's always had major talent. He competed in some of the biggest stakes, I think at both ages 2 and 3. Tim Tetrick is a guy that drove him to a win at the Meadowlands, so he's familiar with the horse, and he's the perfect guy to have today. The only thing that we don't have is any price.
No, he's going to be extremely short there. And even when you get him behind this colt, I think we're in agreement. It looks like maybe a couple stand out for some of the minor. Whereas their Thunder is in this spotter man, Jeremy Day, who's an active.
He'll be here today, won't he?
He should be. He was here for Sire Stakes Day to watch Thunder, and he raced very well, Dave. He added Lasix there, and he was beaten just 5 lengths by Green Shoe.
Well, he's making a big comeback, and he's doing it at a very high level. That's hard to do. He overcame a little bit of an injury early on that curtailed his stakes campaign, I guess you should say, last year. So let's give him a little time. Let's get himself raced back into shape here. Then he'll be ready to go. I don't think he can beat Southwind Chrome today, but if he were to leave and sit that nice trip, he may, you know, tip out with that move at the top of the stretch and make it very interesting.
I think he will do that, and we'll see if he can stay close here and potentially spring the upset there in the 3rd race. 4th race going to kick off 7 consecutive stakes events here to close out our first week of Grand Circuit action. It's first of 3 here of the Captain Treacherous Bluegrass Series, over $88,000 on the line. Can you beat Captain Crunch? I think so.
I think so too. Were you looking over my shoulder when we handicapped this race yesterday? Working on a mystery. We'd love to see this guy come back to top stakes form. The trainer Brian Brown has had so many problems getting his blood right and through all kinds of maladies, so hopefully he'll be fine. He had a start in the Jenna's Beach Boy up at Hoosier Park as one of those for the trip handicappers.
Yes.
He was conservatively handled, and I'm being kind with that, but we know he's capable of big speed. He was flying through the stretch with the last quarter in under 26 seconds. That is exactly how you bring a horse back off of any kind of a problem or sickness. We'll see what kind of price we get. He's got to face Captain Crunch. That's no easy task.
You know, and I think it's for sure he's going to be the second choice in there. So hopefully we'll get a decent price with Working on a Mystery. And you said it. He exploded like he was shot out of a cannon there at Hoosier Park. That was that quick acceleration that we had grown accustomed to. And he was very, very good here last season. He got sharp right at the right time. He set the world record at Delaware, came here with week 1 of Lexington, and he was phenomenal.
Horses for courses. We said the same thing about one of my earlier long shot picks. Working on a Mystery. He's just too good a horse not to be making money.
Okay, and speaking of making money, how about the 2 semi-tough in that race, Dave? He's just 2 for 28, but all he does is make money. He's earned over $418,000.
He was one of the wise guy horses up in Delaware, Ohio. They thought they really had a big chance, the Burke Brigade. Mackie Cayley had the rail in the elimination, and he raced well. He did, good enough to make it to the final there, and he got a check in the final. You know, it's very, very hard to pass any horses late in the stretch when you have an outside post like that. Southwind Ozzie had the outside flow going. Semi-tough when he angled clear and had, you know, momentum going. He finished very, very well. So, you know, if you want a little bit of a live long shot to toss onto your ticket, he would be one.
Okay, 5th race. This is in a matchup that we were all looking forward to, a rematch of sorts from the Hamiltonian Oaks in the bar hopping for 3-year-old fillies here, $108,000 on the line. 2 Millie's possession, 10 for 11 in her career. Her only loss, of course, in the Hamiltonian Oaks, that came at the hands of the 6 Wind Doves Cry. Who do you like at the rematch today?
I'm going to go with When Doves Cry, and that's no disrespect to Millie's possession at all. Millie's possession, a little bit of time off after the Hamiltonian Oaks, and she came back with a real good effort last time in a Pennsylvania Sire Stakes Championship. She cruised as she should have at odds of almost 1-9 there. Dexter Dunn for Jim Campbell and Jewel Siegel's Fashion Farms here. If she wins today, she becomes harness racing's newest half-millionaire.
Yes, and she's quite the talented filly. When Doves Cry, though, she was gunned down there in that Elegant Image final after a tough trip. You know, she had a wicked fast wet here last year as a 2-year-old as well, 52 and change. She really burst on the scene there. Of course, $205,000 yearling purchase, daughter Muscle Hill. You know, it should be a great one today. How do you see that race setting up?
I think speed from both of them, to be honest with you. Today's could be a very good speed day, and I got the unique chance to talk to Renee and Simon Allard earlier on this year in the summer at the Meadowlands, and they could not wait to bring her back to the Red Mile here. So they're looking for big things from her. It's just a classic matchup. It's our marquee matchup of the day, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's those two fillies both exceptionally talented. I could be pushed to either, Dave, depending on who the
Exactly.
better price is in that type of spot. So they're both going to be short prices there in the fifth race. Sixth race, speaking of short prices, how about one here? Green Shoe. He's 3 to 5 in the morning line. I'd say you'd have a lot of people that would like to lock in at that number. He's going to be a short price here. 8 of 10 on the season. Of course, Kentucky Sire Stakes champion, runner-up of the Hambo. New stallion deal just announced. Green Shoe going to Hanover Shoe Farm, so that's great as well. What are you expecting here this afternoon?
I expect excellence. He's just a super horse here. I've had people text and tweet and Facebook me wondering if Green Shoe could possibly trot in under 150 today. We have the ideal circumstances. There's a little bit of humidity in the air, a few wispy clouds, so it's warm, it's toasty. It could, I don't know what the connections are looking for from the race today because we've always said Brian Sears doesn't really care about world records and things like that. They're going to turn him loose one of these days, whether it's today or whether it's next week in one of the heats for the Kentucky Futurity. So we could see something special from him today. But as always, keep a good eye on him in the post parade and as he scores down to make sure that he's minding his manners and that he behaves well.
And he's not in alone. This is a good field here this afternoon, quite frankly. For one of two divisions here for this 3-year-old trot on the bluegrass. His stablemate, Chimpanzee, what's he done wrong lately? 3 in a row, New York Sire Stakes champion. Of course, he was a very close third in the Hamiltonian final, so he finished right in behind him. Do you give him any chance at an upset this afternoon?
I do. You can't rule him out. The post will not make it easy. Post 9, Dave Miller is going to substitute for Brian Sears in there, and Chimpanzee. I think his reputation and profile has gone up over the course of the season. A lot of people consider him to be second fiddle to Green Shoe. He's earned that respect from me over the way he's performed the last couple of weeks here, there, and everywhere. It's just a matter of the trip that Dave Miller can get for him against his stablemate.
Okay, 7th race, going to kick off the pick 4 this afternoon. Another good pick 4 pool yesterday. $10,000 guarantee on the pick 4. We're going to have another favorite here that's going to be probably odds on when it's said and done, Dave. That's 3 American Mercury. Came up very good in the first heat of the jug. He got clipped there just by a nose. Raced okay back in the final as well. Finished to third for trainer Chris Oakes. Tyler Buter in town this afternoon for the drive. Do you think there's any shot at pulling it upset, or is he going to get it done?
No, I've been a big fan of American Mercury for several months now. He's just a very good horse. He was exceptionally good in the first heat of the jug. Speed horses really weren't holding on that day, and Tyler Buer knew it. I talked to him afterwards. He says, man, I wish I didn't have to race him on the lead in that spot. The fractions for that day were very, very quick. I thought he was exceptional to hold that well. And then he took the easy route in the final, which I don't blame him for, Tyler. Sit in, save ground. He finished with good pace, and that's never easy to race twice in the same day, so we'll see how he bounces back from that. If anything, I think he'll be better here on the mile track than he will on the smaller track.
And I think Can't Beach That is going to get out of there and get that trip on his back. That's why I'm going to give him just a slight edge to upset. He'll be the second choice there. Came up a very good second to Bettor's Wish here in that Kentucky Sire Stakes final day. So I thought that was interesting, and I thought he had a shot as well.
I think so, too. He's a very good horse, deserves respect. Of course, you never count out the Pelling Barn. Do you think co-owner Eddie Gran will be here today?
He may be. That was, he's the offensive coordinator for the University of Kentucky football team. They were on the road, of course, late last night, but I'm sure they're back in town, and maybe he wants to come out and, blow off a little steam.
I would hope so. I don't want him locked up and hiding in his home, Come on out, Eddie, if you can hear us here on the broadcast.
Yeah, his Colt's got a major chance there. Can't Beach That. We both like a long shot underneath, by the way, in the 7th. You're inside, I'm outside, but the 9 Covered Bridge, that's my choice to toss on the ticket here. Actually won a big mile election in last fall, 52 flat as a 2-year-old. I think he's going to fly under the radar a bit this afternoon. I think he's going to be a big price. I wish it was a race where we had superfecta wagering.
Yeah.
It's not because it's the start of the pick 4, so that's a bit of a bummer, but I still think he might be able to finish right behind that top pair.
Okay, my long shot to use would be the 1 Caveat Rockland. I keep waiting for this horse to break out with a big mile. It's going to happen. I'm telling you it's going to happen. He's got a little too much talent. He'll be sitting in, saving ground. He's recently added Lasix, and he gets Andy McCarthy.
Okay, well, that's never a bad thing as well. 8th race kicks off at late pick 3. That's the second division of that Bluegrass Series for the 3-year-old Colt and Geldings. The big 3 here, you could say, in this event, Dave, 6, 7, 8. 7, Marseille. He's been known to pull off an upset in some of these big money events. He's going to obviously be leaving here this afternoon. August Fonstedt's already having a big week. He's my slight upsetter in the game.
I can't blame you for that. I used him for second. I think Green Manalishi, also the third of the big G's for the Melander Barn, has really stepped up his game of late. A solid effort up at Woodbine in the Canadian Trotting Classic. I know he held on late. Pilot discretion was coming, but he really showed guts to dig in and hold on there. He's got the post edge. I think Tim Tetrick will use it.
Okay, ninth race going to kick off the late double this afternoon, third and final division of that Captain Treacherous for the sophomore Colton Gelding Pacers, over $88,000 on the line here. Another big favorite that seems to be the theme of the afternoon. We'll see if it holds. And it's a 6 Better's Wish there. He's 9 of 13, hasn't been worse than second, made over $1.1 million.
I left his name out in our open there with the big star performers in sophomore actions. Better's Wish certainly belongs that. Until I would say the Little Brown Jug final, he was considered to be the very top 3-year-old pacer. Maybe Southwind Ozzie, jumped ahead of him at that point, but Better's Wish will get his chance to reclaim that title with a big mile today. This will be a soft spot for him, I think. He's got post edge on Shake That House, and it's his race to win or lose, and I think Dexter Dunn will have him on the point. I know the connections are very excited to race him here, too.
Yes, they are, and it was a nice bounce-back effort. He got clipped in the messenger by a good Cold American Mercury, but people maybe a little bit down on him. He was 5 cents on the dollar that night when he got beat, but what a rebound in that Sire 6 final.
That was then, and this is now.
That's right, and that's what we are wagering again, is the now. So 10th race, we are going to wager here because we've got that super high 5 carryover, Dave, 4,300 and change. It's not a jackpot bet. That's all the money that's going to be added to the pool today, just a 20-cent minimum. A little bit more, hopefully, pickable this afternoon. Yesterday we had 13 originally signed on, scratched down to 12. Well, no one could come up with a winning combo. Today it looks a lot more formful, but it's competitive. You go a lot of different directions.
These are the trotting fillies that have been battling all season, and they've kind of taken turns trading and beating each other. But Evident Beauty was there at the beginning. Evident Beauty seems to be the sharpest of these right now. She got a big break with the inside post. She's proven a little more versatile in her racing style now for Dave Miller and Nifty Norman. I found it hard to go against her, but there are a couple others you could consider and use. Beautiful Sin, the Ice Duchess trying to bounce back, and maybe Asiago. Is Asiago going to be the one to catch in there?
Well, I was interested. I didn't know what to make of it. Yannick was listed. He chose off Asiago to drive the Ice Duchess, so I wasn't quite sure why that. Ice Duchess is a very nice filly, but I was just expecting him, I guess I should say, to take Asiago, so I thought that was curious. The other angle I think is curious in here, the One Beautiful Sin, who we know was a sales topper here at Lexington a couple of years ago. She was a $480,000 yearling purchase. Well, you've got a barn change this afternoon. She moves over to Otis Fonstead, so we'll see what that delivers as well.
And the wild card in there will be the outside post starter. That's number 9, Starita for Joe Holloway. Gets Brian Sears back in the bike today. I don't think there'll be any taking back. I think they'll be going forward when they snap the gate.
That is lights on and horn blowing off the wings. I agree as well with Starita in the 10th and final. We are happy to have you here with us. It's Veterans Appreciation Day on track at the Red Mile. Best of luck. Horses on the track for the opener coming up shortly.
Midland Acres, established over 50 years ago, is leading the way in
the